Welcome to Scattered Travel. I'm Debbie Gerber. Today we are going to a wonderful place, Keukenhof Gardens in Holland. We went to a small town on the coast. It was right on the ocean. The name of the town was Nordwich, and it had a small carnival, and we ate at a little tavern that was there. Local restaurants are just really fun. We try to find places where locals eat, and they had the locals that were in there eating, and they were very friendly, and it was really fun. It was just kind of like a pub with a restaurant in it. The atmosphere was really just very uniquely Holland. We enjoyed it a lot. The chef had a special 6 entrees for the special, and they were all like little mini appetizers, like shrimp and sautéed mushrooms, and in just these unique bowls and pottery. And then we stayed at a hotel called the Belvedere. Now, when I looked for a hotel, I looked for several things when I travel. I looked for a hotel that has good recommendations. I checked several sites to see what the different sites and recommendations are for people about the hotel. I also looked for its location. I want to know that it's in the direct travel route of the different places that I'm going, so that I don't spend a lot of time going out of my way, somewhere that would be easy to find. I try to find something that is in an area that would have restaurants and activities and something to see while I'm there. While I was looking for a hotel in Nordwich, I found this Belvedere Hotel, and it was like having a deja vu moment. I don't know if you've ever had that, but I swear I had been to that hotel before, and I was so excited to go there and see what it was like, and it didn't disappoint me. I went there, and I just fell in love with the hotel. It's just so cute. It sits up on the top of a hill, and it's just regal and fun. And when we went in to check in, the proprietor was in there, and he had his dog, and the dog was laying at his feet, and it was just so relaxing and such a pretty place to stay. We parked. Another thing I looked for this trip was because we were driving a car, was to make sure if it had parking, and then what they charged for parking, because parking can be very expensive. Sometimes in Europe, it was as much as like $50 a night to park your car at a hotel or near a hotel. So finding a place that also had parking at a reasonable rate or free was important to me. The other thing I looked for was something that had a breakfast included in the morning, because that saved us both time and money. I like to stay in hotels that are unique to the country, instead of the big hotels from other countries coming in and you know, just kind of taking over with the modern and the glitz. I like to stay in a regional hotel. So this one had just the plain rooms, plain beds. It's so kind of fun to go to Europe, because it's so different from the United States, that they take the 2 double beds or the 2 single beds, and they put them together, and that then becomes your queen size or your double bed to sleep in. They're still very comfortable, very plain. Plain furniture, plain rooms, but comfortable and very clean. And so it makes for a nice place to stay. And they're not quite as expensive as the bigger hotels. And then you get all of the ambiance and feel of the country. The bathrooms are kind of unique. They're very small, but they compact all the things necessary in them. We even had a blow dryer in the room, and they provide the shampoo and soaps and everything, just like we do in our hotels here. It had a small shower, a little corner shower, but plenty enough to be comfortable, have nice warm water. It was clean, great place to stay. Like I said, I was most interested in that it had a breakfast, a buffet breakfast, because I love their breakfast there. This hotel had for breakfast, it had meats, it had a variety of cereals, it had hagelslaaf, which is my husband's very favorite thing. They're like little chocolate sprinkles that you put on your bread. They had juices, orange juice and apple juice. They had coffee, they had hot chocolate, there was a large variety of things. They did all kinds of breads. Their breads are just to die for in Holland and in Europe. I just love the bread. I don't eat it so much here in the United States when I'm at home, but I really do love it when I go to Europe. I'll eat a lot of bread. Their butter is different. Their mayonnaise is different than ours. It just has a different flavor, and I really enjoy it. They have meats and cheeses. I was always told that you just take your bread and you put one topping or two toppings, but that's it on it. So you might put butter and some cheese, or a slice of cheese and a slice of meat on it. They also have chocolate milk. They have a yogurt that is smooth as silk, and it's not real thick. And once you've had that yogurt, you want to have that kind of yogurt over and over again. They had a wonderful little dining room where you could look out over the ocean, and it was a pretty place to eat your breakfast. Clean dining room, a fairly large area. And then we had our breakfast, and there was 3 of us. My husband and I and my mother-in-law went on this trip. And so we had a fun time together. But for breakfast, I love hot chocolate, so we would have hot chocolate and a juice. And in Holland, another really fun thing is that they have little egg cups, and they have the soft-boiled eggs. And you set the little soft-boiled egg in the little egg cup, and you take a little tiny little spoon that they give you, and you tap around the top of it, and then scoop off the top, and then you get to just eat the egg right out of the shell. Really kind of fun. So I enjoy the breakfasts in Holland, and I make them here like that as well. I'd mentioned before that we had rented a car. When we go to Europe, we try to rent a very small car, just big enough to barely get our luggage in and get us in, because it makes parking so much easier, a small car. But now take a look at the size of this car in comparison to my husband, and you can see that it was a small car. But I'll tell you what, in the small streets in Holland, it was sure a lot easier to park, and made it a lot easier to use the car, because Holland's roads originally were made for very small vehicles. So we enjoyed having a car. A car allowed us to go see all areas of Holland on our own schedule. We were able to see things that most people don't get to see. One of the things that made it sad for us is we had wanted to see the fields in bloom. We drove all around the countryside, around Keukenhof Garden area, and up into the north part of Holland. And they had already cut most of them. We were there the second day of May, and we found just a couple of fields that had some tulips, and some of them had been cut and were regrowing. But this is what they should look like, except that usually there's just field after field after field of beautiful flowers, either tulips or daffodils or different of your bulb flowers, just wonderfully displayed in bright, vivid colors. And this time we were only able to find a couple of fields, so we were a little late this year. Last time we were there in April, and it was just perfect then. And I would suggest going in the earlier part of when the gardens are in bloom in order to get the full effect of them. But it is a sight to behold, fields full of flowers. My husband once said, "Let my tulips meet your tulips in Holland." And so a kiss by the tulips.
Okay. We're at Keukenhof Gardens in Holland, and while you're on your vacation, one tip for a great vacation is to take your time. Don't rush through. There's a lot of things to see, but you want to take your time when you're out on a vacation. This morning we stopped and we had a wonderful buffet breakfast. We sat and looked at the ocean and ate our breakfast, and we enjoyed it. And now we're at Keukenhof Gardens, and we're slowly just walking our way through, enjoying things, taking pictures, stopping to sit in the park. Take time on your vacation so that you can enjoy it and have memories when you're finished.
As you walk into Keukenhof Gardens, you're hit by how beautiful it is. There's flags that are around the entrance. There's this beautiful water fountain as you enter Keukenhof Gardens. There is more than one entrance, so you may enter from a different direction, but this is the main entrance. And then there is a music box that plays. the Orchid Pavilion at Keukenhof Gardens was my favorite place in Keukenhof. The most beautiful orchids I had ever seen, all different kinds, very unique. They hung from the ceiling. They had them displayed in pots. They had them, some of them just like in the air. Their roots were just open to the air, and we asked them how they kept them alive, and they said they would soak them for 30 minutes a day and then hang them back up, and it was just really unique. Since I came home, I've bought orchids, and I'm trying to grow several different orchids now, just because I just thought they were so beautiful. But it was fun to be exposed to so many different kinds and so many different colors of orchids. And then, of course, there's the tulips, and again, such a variety of tulips and things to see in Keukenhof Gardens that you wouldn't imagine there being that many kinds of different tulips. Keukenhof Gardens has been open for over 60 years. I was surprised by the number of flowers and trees. They said there was over 7 million flowers planted in a 32 hectares garden, and there was sculptures in the garden. There were, they said, about 2,700 trees in the gardens. There was a little lake in the gardens. There was windmill, wonderful windmill, of course, to show the windmills that they have there. And the windmills overlooked the fields that had been cut. And so there was these rows of beautiful green, but no flowers around in the fields that we were used to seeing flowers everywhere. It was fun to see unique plants. I got to hold a 4-leaf clover, and of course I made my wishes, and I'm sure they're going to come true. The tulips were just planted in rows of vibrant colors, and again, different colors. There was a ice cream cone tulip that we fell in love with. Looks just like it, and if you're a Gerber, you have to love ice cream, so that was one of our favorites. But Keukenhof means kitchen garden. It was named for the garden that was first there to display the castle that was there with herbs. Of course, like I said, there was a lake there with swans and floating sculptures, and beautiful place to take pictures. The flowers are huge. Would love to have our tulips and our flowers be as big as they are there. Of course, I suppose that just takes a lot of work and a lot of time. But it was fun to look at the different ones and then know that you'd come home and plant them. There was people there to tell you about them. There was places to eat. There was entertainment going on in Keukenhof Gardens. There is parking right there, and they have maps of the gardens. We were able to walk the entire garden during the time that we were there and see all of it. So it is large, but it is doable to see in a morning or in an afternoon. Visit Keukenhof, one of the best.
Run and get in. Okay.
Hey, is he in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Keukenhof Gardens in Holland. Is there anything more romantic than flowers? I love getting flowers. Walking through them is just as romantic as getting them. Keukenhof Gardens, one of the fabulous places to come in the Netherlands.